So, in today's video, we will be looking at some very interesting news. It's reports regarding PlayStation 5 and its performance. At initial, when I came across it, I didn't believe it, because who would do that, right? But when it's coming directly from one of the Sony engineer, I had to believe it. So, let's get to it. So as usual, a like would be super appreciated, and if you guys are new to my channel, a subscribe would be helpful. So without any delay, let's get into the video. So guys, it's me, your gaming geek. Welcome back. Speaking of news, we have some gaming news to talk about. It's going to be the base of today's main story of this video. In case if you guys didn't hear, Spider-Man is going to get a smooth 60 FPS at 4K in PlayStation 5. Well, if you guys want to stay updated with such happenings in the world of gaming, do follow my Instagram page where I'll be uploading all the hot topics and new trailers etc. which are happening in the gaming world. Well, coming back to the video. Yeah, yes, we are going to get to run, or we will be getting an option to run at 4K at 60 FPS for the PlayStation 5, which is just awesome. Miles Morales on PS5 at 4K, I seriously can't wait to get this game running. But sadly, we won't have few features enabled while running it at 60 FPS. One of those main feature is we won't be having ray tracing enabled, which is the key thing, right? So you won't get the same experience that you normally would get on a 30 FPS. There are going to be downgrades, few things here and there, and well, there isn't too much to know about it besides tweets and few other little points. But yeah, it's pretty cool to know that we can run Spider-Man game at 60 FPS on PS5. Well, I don't know about other games yet, but we know that we are going to play the game on a 30 FPS option at a 4K with all the features enabled like ray tracing, HDR, etc. But if you want that smooth 60 FPS, you have to sacrifice few things, and one of those is ray tracing, and won't get the same experience which you have in 30 FPS. Well, coming to the main piece of news in today's video is a bit of a leak regarding PS5. Well, it might be a bit of a lie too, which Sony may have told us regarding the PS5. If you guys remember, a couple of months ago when Sony decided to have a PlayStation 5 hardware launch event, which was kind of boring event, I have to say, because I have stayed and watched the whole event, but from a technical point of view, it was one of the most fascinating, like looking at all those new hardware and the developments which they have put into the PlayStation 5 is so fascinating. But during this event, they did talk about RDNA 2. For those who don't know what it does mean, it is basically the architecture which is used in PS5 which is used to run the games. Well, in simpler terms, it is kind of a graphic software which is used to run the games in PS5. Well, this is the architecture which they used in PS5. Well, they even mentioned and showcased it how it's going to work in PS5. Well, that's the point. They mentioned RDNA 2. But it looks like it's not the case we get to see in PS5. But an engineer from Sony did clarify few things which does not sound good. Well, it looks like PS5 does not have a pure RDNA 2 architecture like how we imagine. It's sort of a middle ground between RDNA 1 and RDNA 2. This is what he even quoted. I know you are curious, but I'm legally bound and I cannot say anything that is not public. As you will know, the architecture of PS5 is middle ground between RDNA 1 and RDNA 2 with some unique features. PS4 Pro was also a strange one of a hybrid between GCN and 2 and GCN 4. After stating that, it has already created a lot of controversy online. Like, why did Sony state the console was a pure RDNA 2 based console? But now it's not the point. The main point is, why did Sony lie to us at the first? That's the big question that a lot of people are asking. Well, they had to re-clarify few things. So here's what they have said in their clarification. It's based on RDNA 2, but it has more features and it seems to me one less. The message turned out badly. I was tired and I shouldn't have written the things I have wrote. He did even continue his statement. For example, support of ray tracing is not present in any AMD GPU currently on the market. The PlayStation GPU is unique. It cannot be classified as RDNA 1, 2, 3 or 4. It is based on RDNA 2 but it has more features and it seems to be one less. Well, it might get confusing to a lot of you guys. That is the reason why I tied up the Spider-Man video at the beginning, cause why they had to give up ray tracing to give us a smooth 4K at 60 FPS. Well, that's how the AMD chipset works. They haven't got the tech just yet, so it does get a bit confusing and a bit risky. Essentially, they had to cut some corners to create us the next gen experience. But is that truly going to be a next gen? Well, some of you guys might get disappointed after listening to this news. But if you ask me personally, I believe it's going to be a great year for both Xbox and PlayStation, and they will be developing us some of the greatest games in the future. We will be getting games at 4K 60 FPS, ray tracing, HDR enabled, but not at the launch, or maybe first year or the year after. Like I did mention in the past that there is going to be a transitional period where we will be getting different consoles, like how we got the PS4 Pro and the Xbox X. They are a bit highly hardware equipped. And the other reason is that few games are still being developed on an older version engines, due to which they are not familiar to the architecture of this new system, due to which they won't fully use this architecture to their full capability. That is the reason why we won't be getting, or that is the reason why Sony had to cut few things to give us that smooth 4K at 60 FPS, which is something very understandable. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, cause Sony is marketing as one thing, later it's been told it's sort of a custom chipset. Well, that's it for the video. So if you guys end up liking this video, do smack that like button, and if you guys are new to my channel, do click the subscribe, and if you guys didn't like this video, do hit the unlike button and comment in the comment section so that I can improve myself. Well, see you guys on my next video. Until then, signing off, your gaming geek.